Right, my audio is good. I look properly lit as I should be. So, welcome to a special Talisman Digital 5th Edition developer stream. So normally I'll just play something that I'll jump on stream if there's something that we've just released and I want to talk you all through it, talk you all through how we put it together, and show off like the city. When we launched that, I did a special developer stream, which was very good. But today is a little bit different, which is we are going to be playing the Dead King expansion, which comes out on the 21st of this month. But I've very kindly asked the rest of the Nomad team, or specifically the developers, to put together a marketing build so that I can play with the new expansion ahead of it releasing, show you guys what's involved in the Dead King, and just basically do a little preview ahead of it launching on the 21st, because this is an expansion unlike anything we've done before. Probably best to describe it as a mini expansion. For anyone that doesn't know, the Dead King was a bonus included with issues of White Dwarf, which is the Games Workshop magazine, which is still going very strong. I'm always very impressed by how well White Dwarf is doing. But yes, included with copies of White Dwarf, it was a few months ago now, was a bonus ending for Talisman Digital, Talisman 5th Edition, so the physical game. I'm like, oh, that's really cool. But we've never just added an ending to Talisman before. Like we've added individual characters, we've added legendary decks, we've added expansions, but the idea of adding just an ending was something new, something that we'd not done before. But we were like, well, cool. We don't want to, if this is something that's officially been released for 5th edition, even if it was included as a bonus with copies of White Dwarf, we want to be able to support that digitally. Hey, loves to smoke crack 666. Amazing username, by the way. I'm thoroughly impressed. Where was I? Yes, so we were like, well, if we don't want this to be just something that, like, yes, if you go out, you can get a copy of White Dwarf, but not everyone can do that. And, you know, that's only in print for a certain amount of time. So we're like, well, what if we made a digital version? So we talked to Games Workshop, we figured out what would have involved, we figured out what we wanted to do with it, and here we are. So I'm going to show you off. I am going to show you off. I just called myself out for saying that, but I've said it again. Today, I am going to show off the Dead King expansion for Talisman Digital 5th Edition. Also, for anyone curious, I have a tea. Long time no stream. Yes, it has been a while since I've streamed. There's a lot going on behind the scenes here at Nomad, both with Talisman and a future project that I cannot talk about just yet, but is taking up a lot of time. That's Talisman. It's a future project that's very exciting, but I can't talk about it just yet. Glad things are still being developed. Yes, so Talisman Digital 5th Edition is absolutely still being worked on. As we speak, our developers are, well, as I speak, our developers are working on bringing both the city and the Dead King and the Change of Fate, the massive quality of life update that we put together, over to console. So that's the Xbox and PlayStation versions of Talisman Digital 5th Edition. So look forward to a big chunky update for both the Xbox and PlayStation version later this month. It's taken a while because we've had various things going on that happens when you're in a small studio, but we are getting there, and we're going to keep getting there. And we can't wait to see what console players think of the new features. Right, something I did just notice is the fact that it says city is coming soon, but the city is not coming soon, the city is already out. So let me get rid of that. Huh, I don't actually know where that's come from. Right, well, you all know that the city's out. When it comes up, I'll point it out, but the city is out. I'm not going to waste your time doing that midstream. You're going to show us off to some random people. Yes, I am. You're all here, so you're all part of the experience, I'm afraid. Right, so Talisman Digital 5th Edition, let's play the Dead King. So, first off, we have the endings. So this is now big enough to have a scroll, but we have the Dead King. So we've added 3 ways for you to play with this expansion. First of which is solo. So this is the thing that we're really pushing with the Dead King. Because for the physical release of this ending, it did actually include official support for solo play for 5th edition for the first time, which is something that had never been done officially before. So like, okay, well, you know, that's breaking new ground. That's something that's cool that we can focus on. So let's make sure that we also include that in the digital version. So if you're interested in playing Talisman 5th edition solo, we have put out other ways to play Talisman solo previously, but Origins was based on the 4th edition rule set. The Dead King is the official way that you can play solo. We officially support solo play through the Dead King, which is quite exciting. So that's what I'm going to be doing today, because I might as well show you guys the most exciting way to play that's new. Or you can play it co-op, or you can play it PvP. So you've got quite a few different choices for how you want to play with this new ending, because, like I said, because it's not a full expansion, in quotation marks, compared to something like Alliances. We were like, okay, well, we need to make sure that we include multiple ways to play it. And for anyone wondering, because it is a smaller expansion than Alliances, it is also cheaper than Alliances. Like, we've priced it accordingly, because compared to getting a entire physical box of Alliances to just the ending, you know, physically you're getting less stuff, so digitally you're also getting less stuff, so we've priced it accordingly. But this is still something that is exclusive to 5th edition, so this will not be coming to Classic. Right, saved setups. So I've got Dead King PvP saved, but I don't think I actually want PvP, I want solo. Yeah, I'll choose my character, because if I'm going to go up against the Dead King solo, I feel like I need to at least have the benefit of being able to choose who I play as. Classic movement. No, I'll keep the new movement on. Oh, I could do manual dice. I could use manual dice, but I think that'd probably just slow it down a little bit too much. Like, it's fun to use manual dice, but I think I'll just keep it as is. No Diato. Death is more challenging when you're defeated. Start again with a new character. Yeah. Let's do no respawn. Let's do a bit hardcore. Cool. Players. Right. So I am on Why can I not remove? Right, so that's me. Why is it not letting me remove? There, I was thinking that this is the build that I'd got downloaded. So if I go on to endings, co-op. Alright, so it's letting me add. It's not letting me go down to. I need to set it to one player. Or is it just going to add? Let's see, because I don't know if this is how it's been set up or if this is. Let's play with some expansions on, and then let's choose my character. I'm going to be Dark Cultist, because Dark Cultist is cool. Alright. Me and the Assassin. Okay, so for context, this was meant to be a solo stream, but because we're still, how many weeks are we out from? We are still, so we're going to launch on the 21st, so we are still 2 weeks away from launch at this point. So I think I've got a slightly older developer build, which for some reason isn't letting me play solo. But you can play solo in the release version. I've played it in other builds. This is just a specific marketing build that I've been given. That's my spiel out of the way. So let's team up with the Assassin to see what they want to do. Alright, I always have the old Toad rules on, I must admit. Yeah, that's why we've added them. Like, the old Toad rules are there because we know people like the old Toad rules. But we want to give people the option. Try remove PvP and just leave solo. So for the Dead King expansion, you actually do just choose which of the 3 versions you want to play with. So I don't know if because I was setting it up in an odd way and this is an older build, something hasn't gone right, but we'll figure it out. I'll go shout at the developers after I've finished this stream, so that's all good. Alright, Dark Cultist versus a Glory Seeker. We're off to a great start, everybody. We're off to a very good start. Yeah. I've got no quests to discard, so that is fine. Alright, what we got? Let's get the Grim Reaper out of here. I am actually going to see if I can. I'm going to see if exiting and re-entering is good enough to see if I can figure out what was going on. Right. Endings. So, PvP, players. Endings, solo. No, still swimming with that. How do, better late than never. Welcome to the stream, Talisman Island. Always good to have you. I am going to put no Grim Reaper on, because I think that's the... I want it to be tough, but I don't want it to be that tough. So we might as well... Let's do actual co-op. If I'm going to have some friends on my side, I might as well have good friends. Alright, Tavern Maid's stocked up. Trying to see if she can gain some fate. Gain some strength. Gain 1 strength, not bad. Right. Let's see where I can go. It's a bit laggy. Is it because it's beta version of some sorts? Or just me? Is the game lagging or is the stream lagging? That's the question. Let me... Right, that might have helped the issue, hopefully. Just change some settings midstream. Game lagging, okay. Let's go visit the Mystic. It all seems fine on my end. Let me see if I open Twitch. Can I see myself? Can I see myself and see how the game is looking? Okay, I see the game is running a little bit slow compared to what I'm seeing. How weird, but I'm seemingly fine. It's the stream, probably it gets a bit choppy sometimes. Fair enough. Yeah, if it's just the stream getting choppy, let me stop watching myself, because that's probably not helping with my bandwidth at the moment. So let's go back to just streaming. That seems like a good idea. Right. What have we got going on? So we've got the Minstrel. Everyone's going to the get some spells. As they should. Right. Let's roll dice and let's do some moving. So, for anyone that doesn't already know what the Dead King ending is, I can give you a little overview. So, specifically, in the Dead King ending, you have to reach the centre of the board and defeat the Dead King to win. He's got 10 strength and 10 craft, so he's quite strong. But his big thing is that he gets stronger as you take, as lives get taken from the players. So anytime a player loses a life, he gets a life token. If he has more than 6, every single spirit on the board gets +2 craft. If he has 9, he is a 13 strength, 13 craft instead of 10-10. And when he's got 13 life tokens, he wins. So you've got to make sure that you don't lose too many lives, that you can lose a couple and you won't be in too much trouble. But if you just hang around and wait until you're strong enough and lose lives in the process, he will get stronger and stronger until he eventually does just win. So there's a bit of pressure on you to get to the centre and take him out before he gets too strong, which is a nice little balance. Right, first off, let's go draw an adventure card. Alright, let's get rid of this snoblin. That's the official term for snow goblin, by the way. Right. Okay, well, I don't want to lose a life, because that seems horrible. Okay, let's roll the dice, see what we can get. Alright, I'll take a standoff. I'll take a standoff because that means the Dead King doesn't get any stronger. And that's what we're aiming for here. Yes, we're really excited to see what people think of this new expansion, because like I said, it's not the kind of expansion we've ever done before for Talisman. Like we've previously done big box expansions, and this is the first time we've done a ending specifically. And I think that if it was just the ending, we were debating including it as a bonus, but because of the work that we've put into specifically the solo mode, which does add a lot to Digital 5th edition, like it's an entirely new way to play, and it's also compatible with all of the classic expansions that we've brought over so far, which is a big thing, because it means that you can not just play the Dead King on its own, you can play the Dead King with the Reaper if you want to have him team up with Death, if you want to play with the Dead King and the City expansion like I am now, if you want to gear up before you head off to face him, like you've got the option to do that. So it is an entirely new way. Like, you're still playing Talisman, like at the end of the day you're always still going to be playing Talisman, that's why you're playing Talisman, but it does offer a different way to play Talisman, which is quite fun. Right, a snobbling, clever as always, Tom. I try my best. I try my very, very best. Right, Leprechaun. Yeah, because I don't know how many people actually managed to get a hold of the Dead King expansion for the physical 5th edition. Because like I said, because it was a White Dwarf exclusive, like we've got a rough idea of how many people were able to get that copy of White Dwarf, but obviously not all those people who bought White Dwarf are going to play Talisman, because it's primarily all about those Space Marines. Everyone loves those Space Marines. But we have seen online that quite a few people do really, really like the Dead King expansion. So we're excited for people who didn't get the chance to get it physically, because it was a little bit tricky to get hold of. They'll get the chance to play it digitally, which will be fun. Also, that was a really weird zoom. I don't know if anyone else caught that. Like the top of the card went somewhere else on the screen. Like I said, this is a specific build that I've asked ahead of release, because this doesn't release until the 21st. So this is a specific build that I requested, which also doesn't fully do what I asked for. So I'm going to go shout at the developers once I finish the stream. Don't you worry. Right. Ooh, I can make a raft. Yeah, go on. Let's make a raft. Alright, now I need to remember that I've made a raft, because I know that it could come back round to my turn, because I'm streaming, I'll have forgotten that I've made a raft, and therefore not use a raft. But you all bear witness, I'm going to remember that I've got a raft. Yes, if anyone's got any questions about the Dead King expansion while I'm showing off, throw them my way. I'm more than happy to answer them, because like I said, it's still 2 weeks before this releases for the public, but we do have beta testers currently giving it a go, and we're currently ironing out the last few things before we release it, which is very exciting. So we are officially in big Dead King territory in terms of development. So anything that can be talked about, now is the time to ask me. Don't roll, Tom, don't you dare do it. See, my mouse is hovering over roll die, and if I hadn't said that to myself, I absolutely would have, because that's just how my brain works. Chew. Bless you. Bless me. Right, Hidden Valley, let's go. Also, might as well mention it while while I'm streaming, because I haven't streamed for a while. Anyone who played Talisman Digital 5th edition will have noticed the text is now on cards. So this is something that players asked for a lot when we first launched Digital 5th Edition. But because of the way that cards were formatted for the physical game, we were like, oh, let's match that with the digital version, and have it so that the awesome new artwork for 5th edition is featured as heavily as it can be. And a lot of people like that. Some people prefer having text on their cards. So I can actually change it. Text on cards. Cool. So this is how it looked. This is how it looked when we first launched Digital 5th edition. And then with the last big quality of life, the free quality of life update that we put out latest, which was fully free, we added the text on cards option, which is it's really gone down well with the community. I'm so used to Digital Classic that I didn't notice, oh, this is awesome. Yeah, it's gone down really well with a lot of people having the text on cards option, especially with it being an option as well, that you can toggle on or off, and it works in all languages. So even if you're playing in Spanish or Russian or whatever language you're playing in, it'll still scale properly based on the amount of text that's on the cards. So yes, we know that a lot of people have really appreciated that since the last big quality of life update. So if you haven't played around with that yet, boot up your game of Talisman Digital 5th edition and give it a go. Alright, I'm going to continue, but I am also going to ask Love to Smokes Crack 666 answer your question. Would you consider changing Reaper specifically for this ending? For example, his one roll, instead of you being killed, would remove 1 to 4 lives. We would consider that. I think that's probably quite a good idea, actually. Because obviously you want to still have him involved with the game, but it makes more sense for him to be taking lives rather than just outright killing you. So, I will pass that on as a suggestion to the rest of the team. That sounds like a fun house rule. We love adding a fun house rule. Yeah, it being able to be toggled is really good. I massively appreciate being able to be toggled, because the thing is, like, once you've played enough Talisman, like, you start looking at the art more than you look at the text, because you're like, oh, it's a wraith. I know what a wraith does. Oh, it's this particular spell. I know what that spell does. So, like, you can properly appreciate the artwork and all the effort that, like, Hasbro and we put into making the artwork look as nice as possible. But not everyone knows every single Talisman card by heart, right? So having the text on cards, at least as an option, means that it's a lot easier for you to see at a glance. Like, oh, okay, I can see what that card does without having to look at, like, a separate menu or click on the card and looking at what's on the bottom of the screen. So yeah, it's just a nice quality of life feature, which we're all about. We're trying to balance, for anyone that doesn't know, just a bit of context, the last expansion that we released was our remaster of the City expansion. So City's a fan favourite. Anyone that played Talisman knows how much people love the City. And what we're trying to do is we're trying to strike a good balance when it comes to what content we bring to 5th edition, Digital 5th edition. Because, you know, yes, we could just plow on with here's a remastered expansion, here's a remastered expansion, here's a remastered expansion, here's a remastered expansion. And yes, people would like that. But if we spend all our time focusing on remastered stuff, you know, there's not that much new coming out for Digital 5th edition. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to balance it out so that we roughly bring out 2 remastered expansions, 1 or 2 free quality of life updates, and then a new piece of content that has not been included in Talisman before. So like before, that was Alliances, which was the first 5th edition exclusive expansion, which again adds a whole new way to play to Talisman, which a lot of people got really excited about, as they should be. And the next thing that we're adding, which is exclusive to Digital 5th edition, is the Dead King. So like I said, we're trying to balance it out so that people who are excited for new stuff have new stuff to play, and people who want to see 4th edition content come over in the new 5th edition style and be able to play that with their 5th edition content and with all the new rules and the deck editor, that kind of stuff. We're trying to balance how we do it, and I think, correct me if I'm wrong, anyone might think that we're not doing as we should, but I think we'd managed to hit a nice balance. Like, we're still putting out free quality of life updates depending on community feedback. Like specifically, the whole reason that the text toggle is on is because the community requested it. Like, you guys said, this is what we want, and we said, okay, that's what we'll do. We added the save game setups. So for anyone that doesn't know, previously in the previous version of Talisman and in the old version of 5th edition, it used to be that you could set up your house rules, set up your game setup however you wanted. If you changed that, next time you loaded a game, it would be changed to match that. So every time you wanted to set up a specific game setup, say for example you had a group of friends and you're like, oh, these are the house rules we play with, these are the decks that we play with, these are the characters that we want to play with, this is just our setup. You'd have to set that up each and every time. So in our last quality of life update, we added the ability to save your game setups. So like, if you have a game night that you play every time, you can save that as a specific setup, and then just load it at the click of a button, which is a lot easier, because one of the things that we're realizing is that as we continue to develop 5th edition and we put more and more and more into 5th edition, like, there's going to be so many different ways to play this game. So making it easier to quickly load different game setups depending on whether you want to play solo, whether you want to play online, whether you want to play locally. We want to be able to make it so that it's easier for players to just jump into a game. And again, it's another thing that's gone really, really well with fans so far. Right, let's see. Let's answer some questions because I have been rambling for a little bit. Hi, is there any information about the release of the Dungeon Woodland Highland expansion in the coming years? Yes, there is. So if you look for if you go on Google or your search engine of choice, we are not sponsored. If you search for Talisman 5 Four Corners Pass, we actually released a pass for Talisman Digital 5th edition when we launched the city expansion. Specifically, I'm going to have to lose a life, aren't I? Oh, that's annoying. That's fine, I've got an extra life. Yes, we specifically released a expansion pass for Talisman Digital 5th edition that outlines when the city's already out, so the city is out, but it tells you roughly when we're going to be launching the dungeon, the Highland and the Woodland, because we know that it's something that players are really keen to get. Like, we know that corner expansions are some of the most used expansions in the old version of Talisman. So like, okay, well, we want to put a priority on bringing out those corner expansions. So if you don't already have those corner expansions, you can get that pass. Yes, Theo has linked to the Four Corners expansion pass very helpfully. But yes, that outlines our current plan for when we're going to be launching those 4 remastered expansions. Like I said, the city's already out. But there's 2 reasons that we wanted to do that. First of all, we do actually have a large number of people who own 5th edition but don't have any of the classic expansions. So we're like, okay, well, we'll give them a discount. Like, if you know you're going to get all 4 corners, you want to put your money down, support our small studio, go for it. Like, we massively appreciate that. And the other reason that we've put it together is because it's more like an industry thing at the moment. So for anyone that pays attention to the video game industry at the moment, most games are moving towards a very, like, not seasonal approach, but a lot of games are taking the approach of, we need to show players that we are committed to this title. Like, the number of times, if you've hung out online, you'll see people call a game a dead game. And a lot of that is because we're losing lives quite quickly. I don't like how many... He's got 4 life tokens already, okay. So 2 more and all the spirits get stronger. Right. That's fine. If we lose, we lose. I'm talking about stuff. Yes, you need to show players that you are committed to working and continuing to improve a game if people want to support it. And, like, especially for a small studio like us here at Nomad, we're literally like 15 people. It's really, really important that we show people that we're supporting the game, so you can feel confident in supporting us. So like I said, we brought out the 4 Seasons Pass, the 4 Seasons Pass? 4 Corners Pass, to help improve that perception of, yes, we are bringing out all 4 corners. It'll take a little while because we're only a small team, but we are committed to that, and we're happy to be committed to that. Before anyone gets the 4 Corners Pass, because I like to shout about this, and I also think it's worth shouting about, it's worth remembering that we implemented a system in Talisman Digital 5th edition where anyone who owns an expansion from Classic, so the previous version of Talisman, all you need to do is sign into your Nomad account on both games, and you'll automatically gain access to anything you own in Classic if it's been remastered in 5th edition. So to give an example, if you own the city, either on mobile or Steam or GOG, however you own the city, unless it's on console, there's some tricky things when it comes to console not allowing you to sync across purchases. But there's a guide for that on our website. If you search up Talisman DLC sync on Google, you'll be able to find something that I've put together that goes over everything. Or you can just go on our Discord and ask about it, and I'll be able to answer you there. What was I saying? Yes, so if you own a expansion in Classic and it's been remastered, you don't have to pay anything extra. Like, obviously you still need to buy the 5th edition base game, because you need to be able to play it in 5th edition. But if you own the city, you've already purchased that, even if it was like 8 years ago, you can play the remastered version in 5th edition at no additional cost. You just need to sign into your Nomad account on both games, which is cool because it means that people who invested a lot of time and people who invested a lot of money into that classic content still get to play that, but they get to play it in the new 5th edition game with like the deck editor, all the new 5th edition content, all the new house rules, all of the new stuff that comes along with 5th edition, including all the updated artwork and the new 5th edition style, and the 3D models. Anyone that's played Classic, you'll remember all the models are little like paper standees, which matches what the physical game was doing. But for 5th edition, we've made some cool 3D models, so it matches closer to what you'd expect from the physical game, which is fun. Right, let's go to the Warlock's Cave. I can visit the Enchantress. Visiting the Enchantress sounds like a doable thing. That is another thing about the Dead King, is that it changes how you feel about talismans themselves, which is quite interesting. Because obviously you still need a talisman to reach the Crown of Command, but if you are playing as a team against the Dead King, then you need to make sure that whoever is planning on fighting the Dead King is the one that has the talisman, or a talisman. So you have to do a little bit of coordination between yourselves. You could also play this online, something that I don't think I mentioned previously. But yes, if you own the Dead King expansion when it comes out on the 21st, and you want to team up against the Dead King with your friends, go for it. You can absolutely do that. And only one of you needs to own it, because that's the way we always do. That's the way we always do DLC. So if only one of you wants to get it, and you all want to have a game night where you take on the Dead King, go for it. My throat's getting a little bit sore. You can tell I've not streamed for a while. Right. So, 1. A mighty 1. Alright. 6. That's a bit more. That's a bit more acceptable. Right. Let's draw an adventure card. Cryomancer. Don't really want to skip my turn, but I can probably... Let's draw an adventure card. Right, let's fight. That is cool, but to me it looks like I can't support you for a while, as I have every game, DLC, legendary pack and character for you. For example, I could support you by buying the Steam DLCs that I have already, but Steam doesn't know that, and they would get the cut. I would spend that anyways. You feel the frustration I have. Honestly, I do feel the frustration that you have. That makes sense. The biggest thing that I can say in that case is, especially if you've already purchased the 5th edition base game, is leave us a review, leave us a comment on one of our streams. The fact that you're here now, like, that's supporting us. That's supporting us in a way that goes further than you would realise. Like, the amount of impact that a Steam review has on how many other people see Talisman Digital 5th Edition is massive. Like I said, especially for a small studio like us. So even if you've not played, even if you've already purchased everything that you can from us, which, first of all, thank you very much appreciate it. But yes, even if you've purchased everything for Classic, and you've purchased the 5th Edition base game, There's still things you can do to support our small studio, which we massively appreciate, because at the end of the day, like, we've worked on Talisman digitally for 13 years now. It must be close to 13 years. And like, part of the reason that 5th edition physically exists is purely because the community showed their support for the game through digital edition. Like, we've got information about how many people play every month, every week, how people play Talisman. We were able to show to Games Workshop and Hasbro, like, look, people still love Talisman, people still love this game, it's worth making a new edition of it. Like, obviously we weren't the ones that told them to do it, we don't have that much power. It'd be cool if we did, but we don't. So like, you guys leaving reviews and showing your support for the digital edition, telling us what you do and don't want to see in quality of life updates, like, all of that, even if you've already purchased everything that we've put out for Talisman digitally, everything still helps and everything's still massively appreciated. Somegirl.com, hey, welcome to the stream, thank you for tuning in. Sounds like more streams need to be added to the schedule then. They do. The issue here is, well, there's two issues, one which is a serious one and one which is a not so serious one. The issue with adding more streams to the schedule is for our studio, Nomad Games, when it comes to our marketing department and our replying to social media and making sure that everything's scheduled and all the sales are set up, that's all me. Like, it's not that we have like a social media guy and someone to do streams and then someone to do emails and someone to do Discord management and all that sort of stuff. It's a store page setup, like, it's all me. And, you know, it's trying to balance out how much time do I spend streaming versus we've got a big sale coming up, we've got a new expansion coming out, there are things that we need to get set up so that it's getting pushed as it should. So I would love to do more streams. I'm always happy to do a stream, but like I said, it's just finding the time to do it, to be honest. Which sounds like a cop-out, and is only slightly a cop-out, but I swear it is only slightly a cop-out. Do you have any news to share on potentially adding the Dragon expansion to digital 5th edition? Other than it is on the list, I do not have any news to share on specifically the Dragon expansion. What I can say about the Dragon expansion coming to digital 5th edition is that when it comes to deciding what we're going to include in digital 5th edition, there's two things that we take into account. The first thing is we take into account player sentiment. So, for example, the city. Every single time we've talked about expansions, every single time it's been brought up, whether it's physical or digital, the city ranks so high on expansions that players love. Like, people go nuts for the city. Like, it's one of the most popular expansions by far. So when we were looking at, okay, what order do we want to bring expansions over to 5th edition, we're like, well, we've got to do the city. We've got to do the city as the first corner expansion, because that's what people want. We already know that's what people want. And the good thing for the Dragon expansion is that even though it is regarded as quite a difficult expansion, it adds a little bit too much challenge to the game for some people. It is still a very, very loved expansion. Like, it gets constantly a lot of high ratings when we do like player feedback, when we look at statistics for how often people enable expansions in Classic. The Dragon always ranks highly. So let me try and think of an example of an expansion that doesn't rank quite as highly. I kind of don't want to throw another expansion under the bus. But try and think of an expansion. Like, the Dragon tends to rank higher than... What does it rank higher than? The Firelands. The Dragon ranks higher than the Firelands. Like, people still really like the Firelands expansion, but based on the player data that we have, do we think more people would be excited for the Dragon than the Firelands? Yes. So does it make sense for us to focus on bringing the Dragon over first, because that's what more people want? Yes. So the more the expansion is loved, the more we see people play with it, the more likely that we will turn around and say, yeah, we should make that a priority to bring over. So while that didn't answer your question directly, because I don't have any news specifically to share about that, hopefully that gives you a bit of insight into where the Dragon is at in terms of coming over to 5th edition. Going to streams with streamers in the category and playing on lurking helps to support it a lot as well. So often I hear people quit games because they don't have people to play with. Yes, one of the things is that Talisman's always been a very niche game. Talisman isn't... We're never going to hit Fortnite numbers. We are never ever going to hit Fortnite numbers. That's the nature of Talisman. Like, it's a niche game, but the people that love it really love it. So if you are going purely based off, oh well, how many active players are there when I try and find an online game? Like, there's not a lot. But if you join the Nomad Games Discord, or any of the other Talisman communities that are online, whether that's the Reddit, which is a really, really good place to hang out, or any of the other places that you can hang out and play Talisman online, and organise games, like the Talisman Tavern. Shout out to the Talisman Tavern. They have a Discord for organising games and talking about Talisman that's really popular. So yes, if you've not checked out the Talisman Tavern, highly recommend doing that. Shout out to Glenn and Zods. I know they'll probably end up watching this, so shout out to you two, you're very cool. Yeah, I think that if you want to find games of Talisman to play, you can. And supporting streamers, seeing who you can play against, is one of the best ways to do that. Very small team, I get it. Are you one who works with the creators too? Yes. So along with social media management, along with setting up all of the notification emails and newsletters, and coordinating with our publishers and sorting all that out, I also liaise with all the content creators. So there's many hats that I need to wear, which takes up a lot of time, but that's all good because, you know, it's what I'm paid to do, so it's pretty good. Like, I'm not gonna be like, oh, I can't believe I've got to do all this work. I'm like, yeah, but I get to sit here and talk to you guys and play Talisman. Like, I'm very lucky. Ooh, Talisman. Speaking of Talisman, would you consider an event to play with viewers/Discord users? It would be a lengthy game, though. See, I have done that in the past. I have played Talisman on stream against people from our Discord. The thing that comes up when I'm streaming and playing against other people is that, you'll notice this from the last hour, is I tend to ramble a lot. Once I get talking, or once there's a topic that I can discuss, I will just go on and on and on and on. which is fine, because, you know, part of the reason that I know you guys tune in is because it gives you guys a way to directly ask me these questions, and me to directly answer you. So, like, I want to be as transparent, give you as much information as possible, and just talk to you guys as much as I can. The issue with playing with people online while I do that is, like, right now the game's just playing itself. Cool. Like, it's not my turn yet, but it's now my turn. If I was in the middle of discussing something, or I didn't want to break my concentration on what I was saying, I can just leave the game on my turn. Like, the AI isn't going to get upset, right? The AI is going to wait for as long as the AI is told to wait for. If we're playing online, other humans have to put up with that, which is fine if they are okay with. Ooh, let's get armor. Carrying too much. Let's ditch the amulet. Yes, other humans have to wait for me to finish my turns, which can get annoying, basically. So yes, it is something that we've done before, and something that we're happy to do, but we have to be aware, or I have to be aware, that I need to be in a slightly different headspace, and be a bit more attentive to the actual game itself, rather than just doing my normal stream routine. Have you considered letting community creators co-host or host a stream on the channel to help offset some of the load that falls on you? Yes, so this is something that we've had a brief look into, but I think having a pool of trusted creators, especially being able to allow them to stream onto the Steam page for Talisman Digital 5th Edition, especially, is something that we're really interested in doing. Like, previously we've done it with Talisman Tavern, because we've worked directly with those guys, and we really trust them. Like, we trust them to put the best foot forward for the game, but we'd love to have more people that we can trust to stream Talisman and show the game off, because, you know, Talisman is one of those games that I think really benefits from having a community either sit down and play the game together, or be able to talk through a game. Because, like, if you're playing Talisman physically, you're sitting around a table, you're all probably having some snacks and some drinks, and, like, it's a very specific, nice, cozy vibe to be sat around a table playing Talisman. And while the digital edition lets you play Talisman whenever you want, it still means that you lose that element of sitting around a table and playing together. But if you're playing on stream, you get that element back, which is quite good. So yes, we are considering that and have considered it. You could even combine it with my suggestion and play with the community. Firelands does warp the game quite a lot, making it about Firelands over everything else. It does. I think that's one of the things that we've noticed, that there's a couple of expansions for 4th edition that we categorise as, like, game-changing expansions. So Firelands is one. Ancient Beasts is another expansion that we fall into that category, where if you are playing with one of the game-changing expansions, you tend to play with just one of them, because it adds a lot to the game, and the game almost becomes about that expansion instead of just being, oh, it's Talisman with some extra stuff. Which is weird, because the dragon is what we would categorise as a game-changing expansion. Like, if you play with a dragon, you need to pay attention to it. You can't just have some more cards in your deck. Like, if you're playing with the Frost March, like, yes, all the cards that it adds to the game are cool, but you don't need to go, oh, I need to take into account that we're playing with the Frost March expansion, right? But the dragon is one where you do have to take that into account. But it's still really popular. So I think that, honestly, I think that's just the strength of people really like dragons, to be honest. I think you should find a starter group who will understand the purpose is to highlight the game and talk about it and not understand the delays, pauses in the game. Yeah, I think as long as people are patient with me, I think that's fine. And does playing with expansion packs increase the number of players who can join in? So it doesn't change the number of people who can join in. Whether you're playing with no expansions or more, it is always between 2 to 6 players. So no matter what setup you've got, unless you're playing with this new expansion, in which case you'll be able to play solo, which will be fun. Let's see what I want to... Let's heal. Let's heal. I haven't actually checked for a while. Okay. I should have checked that earlier. So he is now 13th strength, 13 craft. I think I was messing around for too long. Right. Okay. So... this is a good way to show you all that you can't take the Dead King lightly. Because I sort of just assumed that everyone else was going around gearing up strength. But actually we are only 4 losses of life away from losing the game. I mean, we're not necessarily lost, but I am worried. I am worried. Okay, I'm going to start taking this a little bit more seriously. Choose an object to shatter. Let's get rid of my... just so I've used the spell. Tom, how would one go about expressing interest in a Talisman ambassador of sorts? Because you mentioned posting streams to Steam and stuff like that. So how would members of the community get approved to post-publish Talisman content for Nomad Games? Message me. That's the like. There's not a you need to go through this official approval process, and we have like a influencer team that you need to speak to. You just need to talk to me, to be honest. If it's something that you're interested in doing, reach out to me. Send me a message on Discord, and we can talk about it and figure out what we want to do. Because I'm always up for cool stuff like that. I think this is fiendishly hard. I could be wrong, but that was what my intuition said. Yeah, I think the issue that we've had here is because there's 4 of us, we've lost quite a lot of lives against particularly difficult enemies that would just happen to get drawn on the board. So yeah, I think we've probably not approached this ending as we should, because it's a tough ending. Like it's not an easy breeze to take on the Dead King. But the good thing about 5th edition, you can customize the deck. If you find it too hard, put some stuff in the adventure deck that'll make it a little bit easier for you. Message Tom the Elder One. That is me, Tom the Elder One, on Discord. If you want to find me on the Nomad Games Discord. However, my group is naturally disbanded, but I'm always interested in Talisman. It's such good game / content. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I'm more than happy to get people set up to stream onto the Steam page for Talisman Digital 5th edition. Because at the end of the day, you are showing off. You're doing us a favour because you're showing people what Talisman is all about, and we get to put you in front of more people. Like, it's a win-win. So let's get a craft, because I think I might be the only one that's got a chance at this point of maybe taking him out. True solo might well be a lot easier. Yes, true solo is. It's very interesting to play true solo. Like it feels a lot more chill than you'd expect Talisman to feel. So I'd recommend trying out solo mode once the Dead King launches, because it is genuinely like it's still Talisman. Like, you know, I'm not going to be like, oh my god, it's like a totally different game. It's still Talisman. But trying to take on this end boss on your own just feels different, if that makes sense. So yeah, very, very excited to see what the community think of the solo mode that we're introducing through this expansion when it comes out on the 21st. So keep your eyes peeled for that. Right. I'm skipping a turn. No one's lost a life, have they? Alright. I think we might be alright. I think we've all got enough strength and craft now that we can probably minimise... Bold. I'll give him that. It's bold, Mr. Leprechaun. Fair dues. I gotta hand it to him. Why are you kissing? Why are you making it standoff, my friend? Alright, I'll let the developers know. But I think because this is an earlier build, I think we have changed that in the release version, because we specifically noticed that the AI was making some unhelpful moves. So that won't happen in the release version. But still, props to Leprechaun for taking on a dragon. Right. Maybe we can talk about doing a test collab. Yeah, message me, send me an email, get in touch with me however you would like to get in touch, and I will happily talk through that. Hey, if you're not sure about the streamability, hopefully I've given a little bit of insight into what the streamability of the game is like, because I think as long as you approach it as a fairly chill experience, it's good. It's a good streaming experience. Obviously I don't really stream anything other than Talisman, but... Ooh, a shortcut. Let's go. How much gold do I have? 1. Where do I want to go? Let's go to Magic Emporium, Soothsayer, Armory. I do want to go to the Menagerie. Yeah. Oh no, I need to pay 2 gold. Right. Let's... Where do I even want to go? Where do I even want to go? Let's sell some spells. Let's sell some spells. It seems like a good idea. I'll get some gold. Right. My viewers like the interaction between me and the other players because we would always share so many laughs together. Yeah, Talisman's a game where you can properly mess up your friends. And I think that's a pretty universally appreciated experience, watching people do nice things to their friends is always a fun experience. Right. I think we're getting close to the end, but I do, like I said earlier in the stream, as the only marketing person here at Nomad Games, I am needed in many places at once. So unfortunately, I think I am going to end this game here before we reach the conclusion of us fighting the Dead King. I'm going to choose to believe that we would have beat him because we're just, we're like proper tough. But I hope you all enjoyed this little sneak peek of this new mini expansion that we are going to be bringing to Talisman Digital 5th Edition on the 21st of May. We're really excited to see what people think. We're really excited to have a new expansion that's never been done before in Classic or 5th edition, and we're really excited to see what people think of playing 5th edition solo. It should be really good. So yes, thank you everyone massively for both tuning in and supporting our small team, and telling everyone that Talisman is cool, because it is cool, and you should tell more people that Talisman is cool. And if you haven't left a review on Steam, like I said, that is something else that also massively helps a small studio like us. So any comments, any feedback, reviews, massively appreciate it. So yes, look out for this new expansion coming to Talisman Digital 5th edition exclusively on the 21st. I'm excited to see what you all think of it, because it is a fun expansion. It really changes how you play Talisman, which is fun. And on that note, I think I'm going to go and get myself a drink to help repair the throat that I've just spent an hour ruining through all my talking. But yes, thank you everyone massively for watching, whether you're watching live or if this is a replay, in which case, hello, you in the future. Follow Nomad Games. We are on everything. We are on Twitch, we are on Steam, we are on Instagram, X, Facebook, all that good stuff. You can go to our website, www.nomadgames.co.uk, and you can sign up to our mailing list, and you'll get an email from me. And I think that's it. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Hope you appreciated it, and I appreciate you. And I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.